Hey there, it's Alex. I get it when you're thinking about turning part of your garage or basement into a place where you can work on your swing every night. The excitement quickly meets a wall of doubt. You're staring at a price tag and wondering if you're about to buy a piece of furniture that will sit there gathering dust, or if it'll actually help you shave a few strokes off your game. I've spent the last couple of weeks digging into the whole home golf simulator niche, watching unboxing videos, reading the handful of reviews that exist, and even talking to a couple of avid golfers who already have these setups in their homes. If you want to check the product details on Amazon, the link is in the description. First off, let's talk about the core promise of the Impact Sports Golf Simulator Enclosure. It's marketed as a complete system that you can drop into a 13-foot by 10-foot space, with a 4K screen that's supposed to give you a realistic visual experience while you hit balls with your launch monitor. The idea is alluring. You get a private, weatherproof environment where you can practice anytime without the logistics of driving to a range. That's a solid value proposition for anyone who lives in a climate that forces you indoors during winter or who just hates the commute. Who should actually consider this enclosure? If you're a mid-handicap player who already uses a launch monitor at home and you've noticed that your current setup, usually a simple net or a makeshift screen, doesn't give you the visual feedback you need to gauge shot shape, the Impact Sports Enclosure could be a game changer. It also makes sense for families that want a dedicated space for golf among other hobbies, because the heavy-duty frame is sturdy enough to handle a few missed swings or accidental foot traffic. Basically, anyone who plans to spend at least a few hours a week on the simulator and already has the software or monitor ready to go, will get the most out of this purchase. Who should skip it? If you're a casual golfer who only hits a few drives a month, or if you already have a small net that fits comfortably in a corner, the payoff may not justify the investment. The enclosure needs a fairly large, open area, about 13 feet by 10 feet, with a decent ceiling height to truly function without constantly worrying about hitting the walls. People in tight apartments or basements with low ceilings will find the setup more of a headache than a help. Also, if you're just exploring whether golf simulation is for you, buying a full-size enclosure might be premature. A portable net would let you test the waters with far less commitment. Now, let's get into the practical strengths that actually matter once you've unboxed the thing. The first thing most new owners notice is the construction. The frame is built from steel tubes that bolt together, and the panels are made from a high-density material that feels solid when you lean against it. In everyday use, that translates to confidence. When you swing a 50-foot drive, you're not hearing the flimsy whine of cheap plastic flexing, you're hearing a muted thud that tells you the ball is contained safely. The enclosure's dimensions match the advertised 13-foot 1-inch by 9-foot 10-inch footprint pretty closely, so if you've measured the space before buying, you won't be surprised by any hidden overhang. Another real-world benefit is the integrated screen. We all know how much a low-resolution or glare-prone monitor can ruin the immersive feel of a simulator. The 4K screen that ships with this enclosure is a matte finish panel designed to reduce glare from ambient lighting, which is a blessing when your garage is lit by fluorescent tubes. When you connect a launch monitor like the SkyTrack or OptiShot, the high resolution gives you a fairly crisp view of your shot trajectory and landing point. That's useful for visualizing the shape of a draw or fade, and for tracking consistency over multiple swings. Reliability during daily practice is one area where the enclosure earns its keep. The heavy-duty design means you can leave it set up for weeks at a time without worrying about it sagging or the panels wobbling. Users I spoke with said they appreciate not having to assemble and disassemble the net every time they want to practice, which saves them roughly 15-20 minutes a day, time that adds up over a season. The enclosure also acts as a sound dampener. While it's not a full-blown soundproof room, the density of the panels cuts down on echo, making each swing feel more real compared to a thin net that lets your club strike the material with a ping that's hard to ignore. On the flip side, there are a few practical weaknesses that could bite you if you're not ready for them. First, the enclosure is fairly heavy. The steel frame, combined with the 4K screen and panels, means you'll need at least 2 people to lift and position it during the initial assembly. If you're living alone or lack a handy partner,